second generation grocer.
Really serious.
To get the 3D.
These three warriors face the ultimate challenge. Tremors 3, back to perfection.
That's why we're at the top of the food chain.
Woo!
Now we're going to do a little Q&A with writer and director, producer, Seth Wilson.
Yeah! Can't hear you. Someone. Mic isn't on.
The amazing soundtrack. How did that happen?
With amazing sound people.
The amazing sound people. How did you catch
I'm trying to remember the name of the came up with some of the special effects. There's something that knows in tribute about the sound of the speakers. But we had a really good sound group who worked with me really closely to get the mic sound for the challenge, and the truck makes amazing noises.
I was thinking about soundtracks specifically like that kind of Mexican, basically you have
Yeah, well, that's Jay Burgess and the music.
Hey, Steve, it's hard to hear you.
The mic isn't working.
The mic is, yeah.
Ooh,
There we go. Thank you. Thank you.
that's how I work this song.
Yeah.
The soundtrack for Tremors 1 was amazing, like the country music and the oldies, but Tremors 2 has that soundtrack that just more than Southwest than anything.
Well, thank you. They worked hard on that, and he'd be glad to hear that.
Thank you.
Way back in the back.
I wanted to know, I went past last night, where did you come up with the name of Graboids?
We struggled with it. It was partly probably the naming the movie Tremors. We never really liked the name Tremors. The studio finally just said, look, we're going to call it something. And it was almost like it is in the movie. They say they come up, go down, and they come up, and down, and they grab you. And we weren't thrilled with it, but it sort of stuck.
Good.
Yes, right there.
So last night, Julie, you mentioned that Tremors was one of like 3 unique horror concepts you pitched. Do you remember what the other concepts were? And also with that, was Tremors what you wanted to write, or was there another idea that you had that you kind of were hoping was going to be the options that you would write?
We wanted to do anything where we would control and produce it. So we went with this Nancy Roberts. She said, yeah, do the Land Shark thing. And you know, I recently looked up what the other two were, but I don't remember. I might have put it on Facebook or something, but I did find it. They didn't seem as good to me now. Way back there.
Alright, so we never see Grady again from my memory, and he keeps talking about Monster World. Did he make Monster World?
Yeah, our feeling is he did, yes. It didn't, ultimately didn't do well, became one of those sad places, but he did well with it for a while, partly because of the notoriety surrounding Graboids. Hang on, we got people back here.
So, was relocating to Mexico like plan number 1, or did you have discussions about where in the world to take this?
Well, we went through a number of permutations with Tremors too. First of all, we weren't expecting it to come up. And then, you know, the call came from the Universal Video Department, which we weren't even thinking about. And they said, no, we love Tremors, it's the best thing ever. We gotta have more of it. And so first it was a scramble just to come up with a story. And then the original script was written for Val and Earl, and it was going to be a feature. But then Kevin said he didn't want to do it. We flew to New York and we begged him to do it, and he was in a space that, first of all, Tremors are not done well. It was not, as far as he was concerned, why would I do this? He was really embarking on this plan to do these unusual villain characters and smaller roles and stuff that he did fantastic at. So he very politely, and he met with us and everything, he said, look, no, I don't want to do it. So then the studio said, sorry, now it's going to be direct-to-video without Kevin. Then the budget got reduced, so then the whole idea of going back at the Lone Pine was not going to work. And so then we got back into, well, we better just shoot someplace completely new and different, so let's set it in Mexico. We partly picked that because we thought, well, where would Graboid show up and get a head start? You know, that people wouldn't notice, and we felt like it had to be really rural. And it couldn't even be Nevada necessarily because, you know, that Graboid would get news, they were all over the news at that point. So that's how we backed into Mexico, partly for budget and partly for logic. Over here.
So obviously there's the other Tremors 2 script, and you reused a scene from that in the Shriek and Destroy episode of the TV show, the musket scene. What of that script, like, what would be your favorite scene that you didn't get to do in this movie? Like, of the original script with Kevin and Reba, like, what was your favorite scene that got cut, obviously, and having to change everything and stuff?
To be honest, you know, I haven't reread or looked at this.
Well, come on, Steve.
And, you know, nothing jumps to mind that I suffered over that we left out. I've been surprised to look at the original script of Tremors, which I only did when that 30th anniversary DVD came out, and reminded me of these enormous scenes. There's an entire scene in the original Tremors with the Robert Jane character, Melvin, being dragged around.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And as you read it now, you get exhausted. But yeah, I truly, I don't remember. I remember just having a great time directing it. Great crew and great cast. Having a good time. Hang on, we got in the middle.
I was curious, how was it adjusting to having CGI versus like the practical effects? Like, you had those barrels, and I don't know. I was curious, how did you make the barrels move?
The barrels are physical effects. We took the graboid hump, which is one of our best graboid effects. Dig a trench, put a big boat buoy in it, and pull it under the ground. And the barrels were just done that way. You put them on top of the trench and knock them over. It was very reliable in that thing. You could have a truck at either end and just pull the thing back and forth. We felt that the shriekers were going to require CG, and we were extremely fortunate at the beginning of the whole process that Phil Tippett, who did the creatures, and the many other amazing CG creatures, he started as a stop motion animator doing that animation, and graduated, I guess, on Jurassic Park to doing CG. And he did a test reel for us for free, and sent the studio we just love, the Shrieker-like thing. It looks very much like they ended up coming through a doorway and staring at me. And so we were completely on board with doing it that way. We felt like it was, you know, the puppets from ADI, as good as they are, even if they can't run. And the difficulty we ran into, it was early days of getting CG to match the 35mm film photography, getting the contrast ratios and colors to match, and we struggled right up, past the end. You know, it's better. I was very pleased to see how good it does look on a big screen, because I was a little worried about that. It makes me feel good that maybe the Blu-ray that they intend to do next of Tremors 2 will look okay. But anyway, yeah, we knew we wanted to do it that way. It did not work as well as we hoped it would, but in the end, I guess we got through it. All right,
I was curious if there was any specific reason why one graboid developed 3 shriekers, or if there was any hidden meaning behind, like, the fact that there were 24 shriekers. There was just a whole moment of math. I was wondering.
Well, we had this need in both of these movies to find the problem, so we knew what we were up against. You couldn't just say there were unlimited ones. So we did all of that math, and then we ended up making a mistake because I think it's a Tremors 3. Probably you people know better.
Yes, it is.
Bert says it's 6 that come out in Tremors 3, so the fans jumped on us for that one. But it's really a script problem. It's a dramatic problem. We need to know what the threat is, so that's why we did the math, and we tried to make it funny again. Back down here.
Do you think we'll ever have a chance of getting the video game released?
Oh.
The poor video game, you know, that was very seriously considered for a while. The company took it very far down the road, and for reasons that I don't understand. They went under, and no one else picked up the video game. It was pretty clever. You had to had sequences where there was twigs on the ground and you had to walk and avoid the twigs.
I think it'd be amazing, especially if it was still right by here.
Yes!
Thank you. Back over there.
We have the little like graboid cycle, like from start to finish. The graboid, shrieker, asphalt, egg, and then right back.
What's the question?
Like, who came up with the cycle of it? Like, where it started and how it went through? Like,
Who came up with it or how?
who?
Yeah, well, it was driven, by the fact that the studio kept coming back and saying we wanted another monster movie. And the story I would get to later today is that on Tremors 3, they told us, okay, Tremors 3, absolutely it. We're going to do 3. It's going to be a 3-part franchise. That's it. We're never going to do another one. So we wrote the end of the cycle with the Ass Blaster. And then they said, no, we want more.
And a TV show.
And a TV show. But we worked very closely, and I think I've said it other times, with the creature creators, Tom Woodruff and Alec Gillis of Amalgamated Dynamics, because they are so knowledgeable about the real world. All of their work they base on stuff that they know from real animals and so forth. So we tried to make the life cycle strange, but somewhat within the range of what normal things do. Yes.
Right on that trivia about the sound the shriekers make being mixed between a whale and a baby crying.
Yeah, well, animals crying, I think.
Was there any other renderings that you had considered on those sounds before finally settling on that one?
Not that I remember. Again, I was so fortunate. We at Stampede are so fortunate to have so many talented people come to us. And just like the day that Alec Gillis showed us the first picture of the graboid, we went, yeah, that's it. And my memory is, the first time they played me the Trooper sound, I went, yeah. Because it's a completely creepy noise. How are we doing? I'll hang on, I got a new one back here. Yes.
Me? I got a question. Where did you guys come up with the idea of for the ash blasters, like chemical compound?
I can't hear you, my ears are going.
Where did you guys come up with the ash blasters chemical compound that actually take a left and everything going towards them?
That came from Alec Gillis, from Amalgamated Dynamics. We were saying, the shriekers are going to have to change into something. We sat down early with them when we got Tremors 3. We said, guys, we're going to have to do something else. And they said, have you ever heard of the bombardier beetle? He said, well, I know, Tom, and they're like, what is that? And they showed us these videos. This is a real thing. The bombardier beetle shoots some kind of acidy stuff out of its butt and can blast itself into the air. And we said, obviously, that's what our creature needs to do. So we embellished it a bit, and it became the ass blaster. And yeah, that came straight from the creature guy. Okay, fellow in the hat back there, lady in the hat.
What was the hardest scene that you guys had to film?
The hardest thing to film?
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah. Most things, because we had great crews, things went pretty smoothly. The things that stick in my mind were not days of difficulty. They were little incidents. Christopher really hurt his shin climbing that metal ladder. And it was upsetting to all of us because he really hurt himself. We were down for like a half an hour trying to figure out whether he was going to have to get help or what we were going to do. By the way, he ad-libbed the line when Helen comes up, if you hear it. When Helen climbs the ladder to the tower, he says, watch your shin. But no, things went, I'm sorry, I don't have any disastrous stories to tell, but my memory is things went pretty smoothly the whole way. Down here again.
Okay, so you said your first film, you got the idea from being on a rock.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the idea for the second film? If you could kind of do that?
Well, what happened with Tremors 2 is, again, it came out of the blue. Tremors was an okay, I say, it was not a flop, it did okay. But nobody was certainly thinking sequel. So the video department calls us and says, gotta have Tremors 2, gotta have Tremors 2, gotta have right now. You gotta come up with something. So Brent and I did immediately what we always do, which is, well, all right, we have to do not the obvious thing. So rule number 1 is there will be no queen graboid. No matter what we do, there will never be a queen graboid.
There won't be
and there won't be aliens. And then we started going backwards, and we said, well, God, you know, obviously the audience is expecting bigger. Would it work if they were smaller? And we pitched that to Tom and Alec, and they said, ooh, babies are always cute. Even the ugliest baby alligator is cute. I don't know. And we said, well, let's make it work, because then we started getting the idea of the horde and metamorphosing and rapidly, and the threat is that how rapidly they can expand, can grow. So that's how we backed into it. What do we got else? One more. Oh my God, one more that should be a new person. Hello. Yeah.
Out of the graboid manufacturers, which one do you think was the best public?
The graboids themselves?
Out of all of them.
You mean the creatures solving problems? Well, Stumpy's pretty smart. Stumpy, he digs the pit under the road grader. And the shriekers are not too bright. I mean, really, they do figure out how to climb. You know, that was a huge evolutionary leap. And the APs, they never do anything that smart. So maybe Stumpy has to be the award-winning
Messerschmitt.
smartest graboid. Are they running us out? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, everyone. Didn't know this plan. We got to get ready for the next show.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Tremors Lounge is open down in the lobby. I think Steve will go down there for a few minutes. If there's anyone still needs an audio.